is this gonna be me doing bookish things? So, the stack of books that you just saw are books that I've been meaning to donate for so long, and I finally did. It didn't film me donating them, obviously, because that would have been a bit strange, because it was just my local donation spot. I usually donate my books to Vibes and Scribes, but they don't take everything, which is really annoying, because I wanted to donate some books, such as you saw there, Women Don't Know You Pretty by Florence Given, and they just wouldn't take it because they already had a few copies that were on sale. I got a reduced price. They were having a sale on her book for some reason. And even though mine was perfectly good, they wouldn't take it because they had enough already. I was like, I'm giving it to you for free. I don't even want any money for it, like, because sometimes they will give you store credit, but no, they didn't. They would not accept the book, even though I was willing to just give it to them at no cost. So then I took to my local bookstore. But the next thing I need to do, book-wise, is I need to catch up on my reading journal. So I'm going to do that. My reading journal is not very aesthetically pleasing. I mean, it is on the cover, but then you look inside and it's just, yeah, I'm not one of those girls that can, one of those girlies that can have a cute one with all those little doodles and graphs. No, mine looks like this. So, but I love it. It's nice to keep a record of what I'm reading, but I am at the present moment, I think I'm like 10 books behind or something. No, okay, I'm 8 books behind, so I gotta catch up on the rest of what I read in April, because we're now in May. What the hell? Oh my god, the realization has just hit me, we're in May. So I am currently reading The Gifts, and I hope to finish it today. But I have gotten a little distracted, okay, by cleaning, of all things. So I don't have a B4. I wish I had, but there was a big massive box in here, and I had all of my folders, all of my music, that is, music folders, music books, everything. And I've kind of tidied it up. I got a smaller box for my folders, and my books are now in here, and I sorted through them. I'll get to reading eventually. Just done a Sunday reset of my room and cleaned my blinds, my mirrors, everything. I'm feeling very relaxed in my mind, mentally, after that, because I find cleaning therapeutic. I finished The Gifts, and oh my goodness, I don't understand how I haven't heard a single thing, not a single thing, not a crumb about this book. I'm so grateful that it got sent to me out of the blue. You know, it's one of those situations where I didn't know it was coming. It just arrived on my doorstep, and I'm so grateful for it, because it is so well done. It is a story of female courage, but that is not entirely evident from the very beginning. I knew to expect something along those lines, because some of the quotes that people had given kind of inferred that there would be a kind of female heroine, or just female courage would be part of the story. I just didn't know in what manner. The story begins with a young woman who struggles into the forest, and then a huge pair of wings sprout from her back. And then it switches perspective to these two doctors competing for success, and one of them is getting all of it and the other is not. And, well, not as much anyway. Not as much as he deems that he should, that doctor himself. And I kind of got Artful Dodger vibes from them immediately, because this is set in the 1840s, where surgeries, they're not doctors, sorry, they're surgeons, but where surgeries are performed without anesthetic, of course. And there's this guy, and he's trying to be the fastest person who does amputations, and the other guy, you know, is looking on, and there's jealousy there from the start. So that's kind of the premise. But you have several different point of views. You have Edward and Samuel. Edward and Annie is his wife, and they are having issues in terms of having children. So that's an aspect of the story as well. And then you have Mary, who I think is actually my favourite character. Because she is really she catapults the fight for justice. But anyway, Edward becomes like totally obsessed with the fallen angel in the woods, because that body is discovered, and then he just descends into chaos. But it is so well done, and like it, oh my goodness, you've got historical fiction, right? You've also got a bit of fantasy in there. You have women who in that time in 1840 did not have a lot of rights, but in this fictionalized story they fight for it and they get it. Spoiler alert. But it is so good. I just don't understand how there aren't more people talking about it, because it has all these different genres in it. There's the historical, as I say, fantasy, social justice, and then you have multiple point of views, but all the characters are so distinctive that I don't get confused. Anyway, brilliant, 5 stars. I need people to read this book. If you read no other book that I've ever recommended, read this one. I hope that you don't hate it now from me saying that, but I really don't think you will find it awful, because it is genuinely so brilliant. My little rant on that. What am I reading right now? Nothing, but I plan to spend the evening reading Tuesdays with Morrie, because it's been on my bookshelf for a while, and I knew it was short, right? It's only like 192 pages, okay, which isn't very long. And then I saw the font, and it is a rather forgiving size, so I am going to hopefully just go through this evening, and then we're on to the rest of my TBR. What is on my TBR? I think you can kind of see it in the corner there. I have the Henna Wars and Our London Lives. I've yet to touch either of them, but I have the audiobook from my library on the Henna Wars, so I'm going to read that first and then dive into the mammoth that is Our London Lives. It's coming out in September, so I want to have it read by then, and I think it's going to take me May, June, July, August, 4 months to do it. I actually feel like that could very easily happen, because it's so long. And if you couldn't tell from this, I mean, this is an average book, but I don't really go for long books. How long is this? I think it's just under, yeah, it's 467 pages. So actually, it's not impossible, but like, I'm a big fan of, for example, small books, so it scares me. Anyway, let's get reading. I finished Tuesdays with Morrie. Instant 5-star. I could tell that from the very beginning. And I kind of went into it blind. I didn't know what it was about at all. I had an inkling that it would be a somewhat philosophical book that prompted you to ponder the meaning of life, kind of a thing. But I didn't know who. Firstly, I didn't know it was actually like true, like that these were not just made up characters. I felt a bit silly. That I didn't know that, but I genuinely went into the book totally blind. It is just such a wonderful book, you know. Death is scary, but this makes it not so, I think, in many ways. And it reminded me a lot of Life After Life by Raymond A. Moody. So if you are a fan of Tuesdays with Morrie, I highly recommend reading Life After Life, because this actually changed my perspective on death. I'm not going to go into this too much, but from a very young age I have been aware of the fact of death and the fact that my life can end like that, and that I'm not invincible. So death is something that's always kind of freaked me out, and I didn't like thinking about it, and it was something I was really scared of, like to the point that I would be lying in bed at 2 a.m. thinking about death and how afraid I was of it. Like, that's how much of a chokehold it had on me. So I found Life After Life to be really comforting, and I got the same feeling from reading Tuesdays with Morrie. Morrie has ALS, and he is a professor of sociology. I feel like I should have known this, considering I read the whole book. Yes, he was a sociologist. I'm so glad we cleared that up. Roisin, did you even read the book, if you are unsure about that? Anyway, he's a professor, and Mitch, who is the author of this book, is a past student of his, and it's to visit him as ALS takes more and more of a hold of his body. We watch Morrie lose control of himself, like to the point where he's basically paralyzed and he can't do anything for himself. He continues to have this really amazing outlook on life, and he's so positive and so optimistic and at peace. Like, there's a serenity surrounding him, despite the fact that he, to an outlooker, has no quality of life, but he is just so positive throughout it all, and it was really just incredible. They didn't approach death the way most of us do. I think that is very fair to say. And I don't know, I just think if you like this, you will like this, and if vice versa, because they're very comforting reads, and 5 stars. It's one of those pieces of literature, and the fact that it's actually a true story is even more remarkable. You read it and you're just kind of left, you know, just go read it, and maybe not knowing what you're going into is possibly the best approach, because I truly didn't, and it really impacted me. A wonderful book. Now I have to go and do some editing for Hear My Voice Press, because I haven't done so in a while. It is my turn to edit the next 3 chapters, so I gotta go do that. And then I will do some reading for leisure later on. But I'll check back in. Cheers. Harry and I are here for a little update on what I've been doing. Harry's really important in this. He's going to contribute hugely to the conversation, obviously. He's quite the yapper. So I have finished editing my chapters for the book and Hear My Voice Press. We kind of divided up because it is quite a tedious piece of text that we're working on. It's very draining, so I'm going to just spend the rest of the evening relaxed, hopefully. I'm going to start the Henna Wars. YA, from my understanding. Nisha's parents, and they say she can be whoever she wants to be, on it, so long as that isn't a lesbian, and then she doesn't want to lose her family, but she doesn't want to hide who she is, which only gets harder once Flavia walks into her life. And obviously she's a crush on Flavia. And the question that the blurb ends with is, can Nisha find a way to be true to herself and find love too? So we'll see. I'm nearly finished the Henna Wars, and I realise I haven't spoken about it at all. I also feel like you can hear the traffic. Hold on. I realise I haven't really spoken about it at all. It, for a while, for like the majority of the book, to be honest with you, it was coaxing along at a 3-star, because while the topic, or not the topic, but the subject matter of the book, which is to, you know, it's an LGBTQ book, this Hindu, Nisha's culture doesn't really accept her, and that's one aspect. And then the Henna Wars is between Nisha and this other girl called China, and also Flavia is China's daughter, who want to start doing henna, even though it isn't part of their culture. And we're tackling the subject of cultural appropriation as opposed to cultural appreciation, and that's really, really interesting and really, really important. And these can be kind of difficult topics to discuss. However, because it's YA, maybe not because it's YA, because not all YA books are like this, but it did feel kind of immature and childish. A lot of the dialogue, well, not a lot of the dialogue, some of the dialogue, I'm trying to be kinder to it. And I think that is because I'm reading this as a 25-year-old. If I read this at 18 or 19, I quite possibly wouldn't have the same issue with it. So it was coaxing along as a 3-star because it was good, but you know, I did find the drama, the teen drama, and the miscommunication and the immaturity to be kind of trivial and silly. Not, if you get what I mean. Because it's hard for me to, I'm not criticizing the book, I'm criticizing me reading it at 25, because I feel like if I read it as a younger reader, I wouldn't feel this way. But as the story's progressed, since we've gotten to the halfway point, and now the latter half of the book, I would say, is a lot more, let's just say I'm not getting that immaturity from it. It is a bit, I don't know, more, just take more responsibility for their actions, I think possibly is the contributor to that shift in tone of maturity and immaturity. So it's really, really good right now. I think it would sit at a 4-star. It isn't a 5-star for me, but it has got upwards in my feelings towards and my rating of it. So I finished the Henna Wars, and my thoughts are more or less what I said earlier. I've given it 3 stars in the end because I don't think it's going to be too memorable. Like, it was enjoyable, but with the slight air of immaturity and just how perfectly everything tied up in the end. I'm just not going to remember it too well. I really loved learning about Bangladeshi culture. It's not something I knew much about. Didn't know about henna at all. So all of that was really, really interesting. But Nisha's parents came around to being lesbian very quickly. It felt like they were not okay with it for so long, and then in the end, as the book concludes, suddenly they are and they're watching Ellen DeGeneres, and apparently that's, and again, that also kind of gave me the ick, because unless you've been living under a rock, you know that Ellen DeGeneres is not the lesbian icon that we want to be looking up to, really. So that kind of dates the book a little bit. So yeah, 3 stars. Enjoyable. And I think I'm going to pass this on to a neighbour of mine. I think really the biggest part of my giving this 3 stars is that I'm not the target audience. It was enjoyable, but not memorable for me. But very interesting in parts, definitely, regarding cultural appropriation, and very educational in that regard too. To round up the video, I read 3 pretty good books, 2 5 stars, and 1 very worthy 3 star. It was a good time, even if it's not something I'm going to remember forever. And these 2 were also... This deserves more hype. This is life-altering. Love them both. Thanks for watching.